Gosh, I just hope that woman is doing okay tonight. I want to bring in Mike King. He is a retired homicide detective with 28 years law enforcement experience and host of the podcast Profiling Evil. Mike, thank you for being with me. One of the things I found most alarming about this, besides that picture and all the details, is when they arrested this man, they say that he was holding one of his kids and that his wife was also with him. So apparently, like, this guy had a family while he was doing all of this.
You know, we've seen it over and over again, haven't we, Brian, where these people are living these dual lives, this public life of where they go to work, this private life that maybe the family, the wife knows about, and then this secret side where they're predatory and they're committing horrendous crimes like this one. And so it's going to be interesting to see what the response is, how much they really understood what was going on. How could you not live in that house and know that there's a bunker being built in the garage? That's a challenge.
When you heard the FBI agent there say that they believe there are likely more victims out there, are these just women who were also sex workers that perhaps got away, maybe afraid to come forward now because of the nature of the job they were doing? Or what do you think the FBI meant?
Well, you know, I always looked as an investigator at the victimology first and foremost. Why did these people become victims? And what is it that really motivates that offender to select them? Is it the ability to get them away from a normal setting, to get them to a place that most people wouldn't go to in order to do what they do? Or is it they're really focused on a specific kind of thing, maybe for some in their whacked out mind reason to clear the streets of problematic people, or in other places, just let me find someone who isn't going to be found and not going to be discovered. And we kind of see this in his manifestos, don't we, where he's indicating find somebody that doesn't have a support system behind them.
It's so sick that they go after these sex workers. We've seen it all over the country because they think that they just don't even matter. Which is obviously so wrong. But back to that picture with the cinder block cell in the garage. I mean, if this guy has a family, I mean, didn't someone say, like, why is he building a cell in the garage? Like, do you think anybody knew what was going on?
They're such chameleons, and it's really going to be interesting to find out, why is this guy traveling all over the country? Why does making a 400-mile trip to Seattle seem to fit in his daily routine? He could have convinced people he was doing a little cellar to store wine, or he could have been building a home office or a place to store his guns. But when you look at it, it's really pretty poor workmanship. I mean, a stick inside wall, and those cinder blocks, to me, Brian, don't even look like they've been cemented together, that they're just kind of stacked on each other. So it really makes you think about the organization level of this offender too. They had lots of fantasy. He has lots of fantasy going on in his mind, but he doesn't have the know-how to put it together.
Yeah, it's a good point. And the fact, thank goodness she was able to, I mean, she had bloody hands. She was able to bang her way out of that room, which thank God. But you make a good point. I mean, doesn't seem, it looks like a cell, but it doesn't seem like the best construction if she was able to just bang herself out. Again, thank goodness it wasn't the best construction. A lot of people on social media I've seen today have been speculating about what this guy may have done for a living, you know, interstate, highways. People were speculating maybe like a truck driver. Do we know anything more about him?
You know, I haven't been able to find anything, and I've been mapping out every resident that he's had in the last 5-10 years. And this guy's all across the country. So is he a guy who's going out and selling door to door in different neighborhoods? Or is he, like you've just said, a truck driver? And, you know, we have this mentality in law enforcement that when an event happens, we often think, okay, who done it, and are they right in my neighborhood, rather than thinking of a predator who could be very transient and coming in and out. This map we're looking at, I think, really points out those locations kind of highlighted in red, showing this different states this guy's been living in.
Yeah, very interesting. Like all across the country, you have to wonder what his history is. And by the way, if it wasn't disturbing enough, he apparently posed as an undercover officer when he tased the victim and kidnapped her. So was apparently pretending to be a police officer initially. Really disturbing stuff. We're going to stay on this one. And clearly there's likely more victims out there, like the FBI said. Mike King, thank you so much for coming on with us tonight. Hope you have a good night.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.